He was patriotic, loyal, and had a special warmth of heart that made it easy for anyone to get along with him. We all unite to speak these words about him as testimony of our deep-hearted appreciation for the earthly works that he did for the sake of humanity. I thank the following categories of stakeholders. For next of the Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, His Excellency the President and Chief Mourner, Your Excellency, I'm really humbled for the state funeral. Thank you for loving Jacobo. The members of the National Organizing Committee, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, the Clerk to Parliament, Her Excellency the Vice President, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, Minister for ICT, Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs and the entire staff, Honorable Minister of Health, Honorable Minister of Security, Honorable Minister of Economic Monitoring, Honorable Minister Beatrice Anyoa, Honorable Minister Harriet Intabas, the Honorable Ministers, the cultural and political leaders from Acholi and Lango. I call upon the new Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Anita Among Annette, to walk in the footsteps of the late Jacob Oulanyah and to fulfill his dream and plan for the 11th Parliament. If you will do this, Ugandans will not so much feel the gap that has been left behind by Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah. May his legacy live on, and may his soul rest in peace. Sir, the Chief Mourner, we intended to have many testimonies about Jacob's life today. However, we have been informed that the helicopter carrying the body to Mor will leave at exactly 4 o'clock and make a return journey. This means that we can only have a few testimonies due to time factor. With your permission, sir, I apologize for this adjustment. Your Excellency and Chief Mourner, I kindly request you and Mama, the First Lady, sign on the portrait of the fallen Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah. I now take the honor and privilege to invite the Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Anita Among Annette, to give her remarks. Thereafter, she will invite Her Excellency the Vice President, who will then invite His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and Chief Mourner. I thank you, sir. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and Mama Kata Museveni, the Mother of the Nation,
Her Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, the visiting Right Honorable Speakers of the East African Community, His Lordship, the Chief Justice, the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of Parliament of Uganda, the Right Honorable Prime Minister of Uganda, Honorable Ministers, members of the Diplomatic Corps, my colleagues, the honorable members of Parliament of Uganda in the 11th Parliament, members of the family of the late Jacob Oulanyah Lokori, the clergy, the different families that the Right Honorable Oulanyah belonged to, that include the Bikers Association, the Rotary, the Religious Fellowship Associations, ladies and gentlemen. The country learned with profound shock the sadness of the tragic death of my brother, friend, mentor, Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, a Speaker of the 11th Parliament, which occurred on 20th March 2022. For us who had had an opportunity to work with him, he had very different attributes that included being a man full of humor, full of energy. He had the zeal and executed his duties with the utmost diligence and dedication. We shall greatly miss Jacob. Our sincere condolences go to the President of the Republic of Uganda for the loss of his son, and to Mama on the loss of Jacob. I saw how Mama was depressed. I still recall the call you made when we were in Seattle, and you said you don't believe in the medical report. You believe Jacob is going to be fine. We know what you're going through, what the country is going through. We all appreciate, and we are all going through that. May God heal your heart, Mama. I also want to thank the President and the SEC members for making Jacob achieve his dream, for fulfilling the 2011 promise, the 2016 promise of Jacob becoming the Speaker of Parliament of Uganda. Jacob has died a happy man. As you're all aware, the supreme law of the land of the Constitution, we are bound by the provisions of the Constitution not to hold any sitting of Parliament when the seat of the Speaker is vacant. That is under Article 82 of the Constitution of Uganda. We were therefore forced to have election before we could mourn and bury our friend, our leader, a father, a brother, a mentor, and my twin brother. This is against our cultural beliefs as true Africans. That is being insensitive. But as said before by the church, we as Parliament, we are going to correct that law. Your Excellency, the Bible says, we shall know them by their works. And indeed, the whole nation, friends within and outside the country, are mourning Jacob and they are mourning Jacob because of his works. I still want to repeat my colleagues from Kenya, Right Honorable Muturi, we want to thank you so much for coming. Your Excellency, Honorable Muturi is also a presidential candidate. I also want to thank my sister Tulia, the Speaker of Tanzania. Thank you so much for loving Uganda and loving Jacob. And I want to thank my sister Gemma. Thank you so much for loving Jacob and loving Uganda. Uganda is a pearl of Africa. I want to thank Your Excellency for doing everything humanly possible to save the life of Jacob. You supported in medical evacuation the treatment of this servant of this country, but then God had a different plan, and we must unfortunately accept it. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for that kind heart. Thank you so much, Mama. We must really say thank you, thank you. We can't thank you enough. The nation has lost a great patriot, a nationalist, a Pan-Africanist, who always worked to see development not only in his constituency, but in this country as Uganda and Africa as a whole. The Right Honorable Oulanyah Jacob wholeheartedly participated in the negotiation to restore peace in the northern Uganda between the government of Uganda and the Lord Resistance Army, despite the risks that were involved. He risked his own life to secure peace in this country, and we must applaud him for that, and we will miss such negotiation skills. On the international scene, the contribution of Honorable Jacob Oulanyah can be seen from the outpouring condolences that we have received. We've received a number of condolence messages from all over the world on the passing of Jacob. He made a great contribution on international bodies, especially the African, Caribbean, Pacific, European Union, ACP-EU, to which he led a delegation of Uganda during his time of Deputy Speaker in the 9th and 10th Parliament. He was a great champion of human rights. And Deputy Speaker, you need to take on as a Deputy Speaker, because Jacob led this as a Deputy Speaker. We want you to make us proud. Your Excellency, Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah respected humanity. He espoused the principle of Ubuntu, literally meaning, I am because we are, and since we are, I am. He always wanted everybody to be respected, regardless of their status or origin. He never wanted anyone to be treated unfairly. Colleagues, if we can learn to live with this principle that he cherished, his soul would rest in peace. I remember what one of the members of parliament said yesterday, that Jacob was one of the persons who respected women. I remember when you had a meeting with him and he told you that, Your Excellency, if the person who was disturbing him was a woman, was a fellow man, they would have sorted out their things. But that was a sign of respect to women. We must thank him for that. For the several times Right Honorable Jacob chaired the House, he made sure that every member who had an issue to raise was heard. A good example is when a member sought leave of Parliament to introduce a private member's bill, he would always remind the House that it's a constitutional right for every member to be given a right to raise a private member's bill, and which we need to emulate on what he started. Right Honorable Oulanyah leaves us, but has left an outstanding legacy. The legacy that he has left, he was a very good timekeeper, very unmatched timekeeper. 2 is 2 for entering the House. Even if there is one member of Parliament, he would always be in the House at that time. Your Excellency, yesterday we paid tribute as Parliament of Uganda. We had almost all members of Parliament of Uganda in the House. And we made a resolution that for us to promote the legacy of the Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, the Speaker of Parliament Emeritus, Parliament agreed to contribute to the foundation, to the Education Foundation Fund, and we agreed to contribute 554 million shillings to the foundation account, which money is going to be managed by the Chief Justice. As he had already said, there is a foundation account. We agreed as members of Parliament who love Jacob, not as Parliament, members of Parliament. We also passed a resolution yesterday that this is, since it is the first time we are losing a sitting speaker, we made a resolution that we should have 23rd March of every year as a day of Jacob Oulanyah Memorial Lecture. And that was passed in the House, and we promise that we shall always have that lecture and in memory of Jacob Oulanyah. Your Excellency, sir, we want to promise you, I and my Deputy Speaker, we know you had a lot of hopes in the 11th Parliament. We will not disappoint you. We will work and finish the vision that Honorable Jacob Oulanyah has left behind. We will make sure we work and fulfill the vision of Jacob Oulanyah of making sure that Parliament of Uganda is a people-centered parliament, is a parliament that debates on evidence-based. With all those words I've said, Your Excellency, I have the noble honor to kindly request you to come and address the nation on the loss of your son, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, and may the soul of the Right Honorable Speaker rest in eternal peace.
Excellency the Vice President, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, His Lordship the Chief Justice, all other leaders, and mourners, and our visiting guests, the speakers of the sister parliaments, and members of the diplomatic corps. First of all, again, I extend condolences to the family of the late Jacob Oulanyah, and to all Ugandans, I extend condolences to everybody. I thank the brother countries of Africa, especially Central Africa and East Africa, for sending delegations to mourn with us. This shows the brotherhood we have been struggling so much for. I have my small Bible here, which sometimes I refer to. Now, in the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 7, it goes as follows. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever man sows, that he will also reap. This is in the book of the Galatians, verse 7, chapter 6. And then verse 9 says, and let us not grow weary while doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. When I see what the late Jacob Oulanyah has been able to achieve in the form of contribution, I remember these verses in the Bible. Whatever man sows, in due season, you will be rewarded. By 1962, the politics of Uganda were based on sectarianism. Sectarianism of religion, sectarianism of tribes, and looking down upon women. That's how Uganda had become a failed state. You look at the breakup of the Kabaka Yeka UPC alliance, 1964. You look at the failure of the East African Federation, where Uganda was one of the contributors for the failure. You look at the crisis of 1966,